Hey everybody, welcome back. This is Dental Unfiltered. You're here with Matt Brown, and today we have an awesome guest. Doesn't really need much of an introduction. If you're on the internet when it comes to dental, this person is everywhere, and it's Paul Goodman from Dental Nachos. I was lucky enough to attend his event in Philadelphia at Dental Boost Camp, which quite literally is summer camp for dentists. It's kind of the theme of it, but it kind of felt that way. They're really good speakers. Paul definitely runs the whole thing, kind of like a camp counselor, gets everyone moving. The Dental Nachos team sets up like a couple nights of fun activities with the campers and the speakers slash the vendors. And for me, it was a really eye opening event. So first, Paul, it was kind of a unique event in that way. And you guys approach everything like I've never been to an event where your staff has a meeting with the vendors before and after and actually care about us. Like I was in a room with Lindsay and everybody, and they were like, "This is how things are going to happen, so you guys are prepared." And like, if you're not in these booths that you're these times and you're wasting your time, like they really delivered good information. So first, Dental Boost Camp. Where did the idea come from of calling it a camp, and like what was the motivation behind setting this up? Because it was by far the best event I've been in a couple of years.
That makes me feel so great. My team feels great. Thrilled to have your support. I mean, I can tell this origin story. So it all happened because I couldn't get off my phone. In 2018, my wife and I would go to Elvez. You got a chance to go to Elvez, right, Matt? Amazing nachos. And we would go on Sunday nights, and she would say, "Can't you just get off your phone and spend time with me?" I said, "You're 100% right. But all of these young dentists have the same question, and they're sending me DMs instead of asking on the group. What if I put 20 of them in a hotel room and we live streamed it and we called it New Dentist Boost Camp?" And I said, "Why can't I do that?" So I did. So in 2018, we had New Dentist Boost Camp designed for dentists 0 to 6 years out of school to learn all the things they wish they learned in dental school. And it was amazing. I know you got a chance to meet Dr. Todd Fleischman. He was there speaking at the first one. So that was New Dentist Boost Camp in 2018. And since that time, we've had about 10. There's been New Dentist Boost Camps. There have been Super Dentist Boost Camps. And the one this year was Super Dentist Boost Camp Practice Owner Growth Edition. And what I like to share is when people come to my events, you bring your normal self first and your weird dentisting self second. So the whole goal is to get to know people as people. And one of my jokes, Matt, is dentists went to school to be professionally unique, right? We went to train for that. But you vendors, you signed up to work with us. So maybe you're the weirdest of us all. And I say that in the most loving way, that we are all connected through this dentisting thing. But I've been at so many events as a speaker where I'm an afterthought. They don't even help me set up the AV or ask if I don't water. I've sponsored events. Tyler DeStefano from Doctors Disability came to my events in 2019. And he said, "This is the first event where the vendors feel like they're part of it. We're often pushed off in the back and like you can go talk to these guys." I also, maybe it's how I was raised, but like when people pay for stuff for you to make it happen, you should be appreciative, whether it's your grandparents or the sponsors. So I jokingly said on stage many times, Matt, that without the vendors, you're going to pay a lot more for this boost camp next year. And they're also there selling you help. And that's what I describe all that we do. We're selling help, whether it's a fixed implant case, whether it's marketing, whether it's accounting. So I want to reframe to the dentist that the sponsors are there as partners in your business. I save money, Matt, have less stress, more fun because I was lucky to meet sponsors through my events and the Facebook groups. So that was the genesis of it. A camp for dentists, sponsors, speakers, to hang out, relax, have fun, learn, laugh, and feel less alone. And I'm so glad that you felt it was so awesome. We do the Unreasonable Hospitality was the book we read. So we do things like set up special dinners and interview people ahead of time and put together all the things. You know, I'm a big fan of Will Guidara, 11 Madison Park, and Danny Meyer Shake Shack. So that was baked into it as well.
I actually really appreciated the camper profiles. So I actually made a point to go through them all. And like Mei Ling, she's a young, I think D4 right now. She's doing martial arts and sword martial arts. You know, I'm a martial artist. So instantly I found her, we started talking about martial arts, right? And she knows, and I told her it was a Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu black belt. It was really cool. One person had climbed a volcano 2/3 the size of Everest. And then Mark was into EDM music. And I actually read every profile. I don't know if all the other vendors did, but my background with the military and like working covert surveillance my last 2 years and like intelligence, I was like, if someone's giving me a profile on the subjects that are going to be there,
Just to share, and I want to give the DEO a shout out because there's a show, I mean, a book called Steal Like an Artist. So in 2021, I was one of the speakers at the DEO, and I sat down and they had a playbill. And I said, this is the most amazing thing. I've spoken at so many lectures, so many events, and it was so we make a playbill that takes us 50 to 100 hours, but it gives everybody's name, their Instagram handle, fun facts about them, and that just adds in the fun. And I give you credit for reading through it because making conversation is great when you can find that common thread with somebody. So that's what we do. We make the Super Dentist Boost Camp playbill. Sponsor speakers, just be there people, campers, and give that to everyone ahead of time.
Every human that was there that was a dental professional was in it.
Yeah.
Like, I didn't have to guess what anyone did. I could walk up and say, hey, and when I realized some people, I walked up and said it, and they were like surprised I knew it about them because I don't think a lot of people paid attention to it. But those of us who did, it was really high value. So I find that there's like kind of three events in dental, and you might know more. So, if there's more or different or a different point of view, like, I have no ego about it. I could care less. Just tell me I'm wrong or different. So one is just straight trade shows. Like, you got the midwinters, you got the ginormous, thousands of booths, seas of people. Then I think you have events kind of like yours. I think there's some events that masquerade as being an event like yours, but is really just a smaller trade show where every talk is a sales pitch. And I've accidentally gotten roped into those. I feel like those events struggle every year to sell tickets because people go there and they're overpitched and they're like, I came here for information. And then in a pitch, you might get like three pieces of information where, like in Todd Fleischman's talk, and then your friend who's a prosthodontist, African-American guy, he worked at the VA. What was his name?
Rob Slough.
No, other one.
Oh, Cebu Adicula.
I listened to Cebu's lecture, and I found out that in Kentucky, 10% of adults over 18 need dentures. And I was instantly texting my team, like, how don't we know this? What are we doing in Kentucky to help? Like, there was real substance to every single talk, which was like, I mean, I literally was like, why is this not bigger? So next question is, why do you, I mean, like, I understand why the breakouts are so small and so intimate, but why is the size, like, why not bigger?
I'm glad you asked that, and I'll speak about it in a few different ways. Well, the original New Dentist Boost Camp, we brought 20 dentists to Philadelphia and we live streamed it 2018. This was like before Zoom being popular, and we had about 300 people watch in. So I did make it like a pay-per-view CE. My goal, whether it's watching stand-up comedy, I know you saw Nate Bargatze, or watching MMA, I love some people are there in person, and then anyone could watch in online to learn about it. I believe that it is overwhelming to go to events and have to process too many people. So we have about 50 which is about 150 people total, but like 50 campers, 30 sponsors, 30 speakers, 10 people hanging out. And I don't have any intention to make it too much bigger because I want to maintain that I can talk to everybody when you're there. We do have a free live stream option. And I think it's about the thing that I share with vendors, because sometimes they go, oh, I can't believe it's, 10 grand and you only have 50 dentists. I'm like, you don't get it. I'm like, you get to see these dentists over and over again. So I sponsor things too, Matt, and there's value in sponsoring big events at times for brand awareness, but all you get to do is say hi to someone for a minute or two, and you don't develop a connection. I mean, you can tell your audience, you literally saw these people every day like it was a real camp.
I think I was the only person that said it when we did our intro, that this, like, I was really excited when I had the epiphany. Like, I had the epiphany a few minutes before coming on stage. Like, that wasn't a planned thing. I was like, I'm at a dentist summer camp. Paul is the camp director. So does that make the speakers counselors? Like, what are we then? And I came on stage and said it. And when I literally realized I was sitting in my chair when I heard you talking. I was like, I'm at dental summer camp. And then that made it different for me because I felt like I could really make relationships here. And I did. I made tons. Me and Todd Fleischman are doing a 3-part series now, and I am in love with Todd, and he is in love with me, and we're going to do all kinds of stuff, I can tell.
That's my full mouth. So right now, for your audience, I own 2 dental practices, but I do no clinical dentistry because I have 2 other companies, and I can find I have Dental Nachos and Dentist Job Connect. So I'm not doing big implant cases like I used to. So I no longer get the reward of seeing this patient transform their life. So you and Todd are the reward. These connections are my full mouth rehabs where I get to create friendships that last for decades and forever. And I think that's just a really cool thing to do. I mean, the dental world can be, do you feel this, Matt? In the dental world, you could be surrounded by people, but it could feel fairly lonely. It can feel like I'm on an island at times. even though I know there's a lot of people around.
I feel like you get siloed.
Yeah, good way to put it, siloed.
I feel like there's a lot of hi, how are yous, but not necessarily real, genuine connections. Todd was there. I listened to Todd speak. You told me Todd listened to me speak, and I didn't know who Todd was in the room. You told me Dr. Fleischman. I don't know which person that was. Then I tried to track him down, and it got to a point where I was trying to get to him. And like I would stand outside the door from the main speaking hall and kind of stand right where like he had to pass me. And somehow he would sneak past me every time. Like, where'd he go? Then I would walk in the room thinking it was kind of empty. I'm like, where'd Todd go? And then Lindsay'd be like, he already went out. I'm like, how's this guy getting past me every time? But I made a point, like, I wanted to talk to Todd. And then we finally sat down together, and he's like, dude, we should lecture together. And I was like, yeah, that would be awesome. The two of us on stage, you talking your stuff and me talking my stuff and how they interconnect. And our view on things are very similar. Otherwise, normally it does feel siloed. It feels like I was at another event, I won't say the name of it, and I have relationships with people in that organization, but I don't feel like I know enough people in the organization, if that makes sense. And we sponsor so many organizations. We sponsor so many Facebook groups. And where I think you guys shine, and Energize is kind of doing this right now. I don't know if you know, we have a WhatsApp chat with 300 dentists in it. It's like a virtual study club. And we bring in people like Dr. Fleischman to do 1 hour webinars. They're not really CE, but we get like 70 people or so that sign up for them at a time. And we're trying to build a community like you did with Nachos. I think your community reaches outside of the Facebook group. And because that we meet each other out there, and like people walked up to me and said, hey, I saw your post about that crazy watch, or I saw the post about you like in F1. I love F1 too. It kind of let us come out of the virtual world to the real world.
That's the intention of it, is that I want people to become friends. I also, you saw Nate Bargatze, this amazing comedian, and he had multiple openers, right, beforehand? 3. So he's very generous with his openers. I know he brings these people around with him because they get these awesome opportunities. But he also knows that they're amazing comedians who aren't as famous as he is right now, right? So what I really pride myself on is I have Dr. Mark Costa speaking at Boost Camp, and also Dr. Soraya Safi, who is an up-and-coming associate speaker. So I like to put in front of people, yes, you can see some of these superheroes like Dr. Paul Etchinson and Dee Fisher and Dr. Mark Costa, someone who is a dental household name. And then you're also going to be like, I never knew Todd Fleischman was speaking. Where have they been hiding this guy? Because I have found, Matt, I'm going to speak freely to your podcast. Many of these big trade shows have the exact same speakers. Most of them are over 50 years old. I'm going to be over 50 years old soon. Maybe we can mix it up a little bit and get some new people out there.
You don't have the energy of a 50-year-old. I didn't think.
I'm going to be 48, but I
thought me and you were closer in age than I'm 42. Yeah. I thought you were like late.
Yeah, I mean, I say it jokingly in that, like, when you go to some of these bigger trade shows, they just have the same speakers they've had since the 1900s. And I'm not saying that they don't have value to bring in, but like, I love that Boost Camp brings you people you never heard of, and then they get speaking gigs somewhere, because we should hear from the whole circle of dental life, from ages, from different backgrounds to different experiences. It doesn't have to all be so one note.
Well, for me as a speaker and a sponsor, I try to speak a lot. I'm really passionate about my subject of case presentation and case acceptance. And for me to be seen alongside Mark Costas and, and like you guys that are really big names, and like it's you guys and like I'm down here, kind of pulls me up a little bit. You know what I mean? It really does. It's like I'm the opener, or I'm the side.
Well, but I don't think of it there. We're just part of the whole fun experience. I mean, when Summer Casmihal and Mark Costas get off stage, they're just like any other speaker, hanging out in the back, sitting at lunch with people. I don't know if you like the assigned seats at lunch thing that we did, but
I loved the assigned seats at lunch because there was somebody I wanted to sit next to, and you guys knew it, and you guys made it happen for me. So I'm very thankful.
Yeah, that was intentional. And also I do this thing, and listen, it happens to everybody, even me. I'm extroverted. Listen, when I go to some events, I'm just going to sit next to the people that I came with, and I'm not going to meet somebody new because it's easy. So we actually force people to sit apart from the people they came with, and they get the ABC. I think Jenny from Patient News. I want to ask you one other thing. So one, that was important. And also, Matt, I mean, you tell dentists there's plenty of patients to be successful, right?
Oh, yeah. It's a target-rich environment. There's so many.
Do they need to fight over?
No, they don't.
Oh, okay.
They don't have to fight over patients. There's so many.
So then why do people say to me, I'll sponsor your Facebook group if I can be the only marketing sponsor in your Facebook group, Paul, because I want everyone? Because I saw there were some marketing people at the Boost Camp, right? I mean, your competitors were there.
I had four competitors there, actually.
Think of them as collaborators. I mean, think of them as people who are raising the game to help more people do intentional marketing. Think of like it bothers me so much that when I talk to sponsors, I'm not energized, but let's say I just talk to a banking sponsor and they go, I don't want to sponsor your group because I see you already have a bank there. I go, that really stinks because you all tell dentists that there's plenty of patients to win. So why don't sponsors? So that boost camp is a big part of that too, right?
Funny story about the assigned seating. So for the listeners, I wanted to sit next to Mark Costas. Mark's somebody I really like, and I'm always trying to learn from Mark, listen to his podcast. And I say this publicly all the time. I think the three most important personalities right now for young aggressive dentists in the entire industry is Paul Goodman, Glenn Vo, and Mark Costas. I don't know what the order is, but you guys, I think, have the biggest digital footprint. And I walked up to the table, and it was like Mark, his wife on one side, and actually your wife on the other side. And I was across the table. And then somebody was like, we'll just move that one over there. I was like, I'm not touching Mrs. Goodman's little placard. Like, I'm not getting in trouble. Like, I'm already kind of like the wild one when it comes to Paul. And then your pink shirt people were there. I was like, I'm not touching it. But if you touch it, I'm okay with it. And then they moved it for me because there was no way I was moving your wife's seat. It was not happening. I feel like there's this sea of like events right now. I feel like we're in the middle of an event shift too, by the way. I feel like trade shows are shrinking a little bit. These medium events are growing a little bit. I feel like docs want a more intimate setting like this now. I feel like there's a lot shifting right now. And, you probably know more than I do on that. But, if you're a doc, right, how do you figure out what you want to go to?
I'd love to speak on this for a few minutes and hopefully share some wisdom. First, if an event's not fun for the sponsors, speakers, and attendees, nobody wants to go back to it, right? So like some of these events, they're just the opposite of fun, right? They're just too stodgy, too rigid, right? So one, go to places that do bake in fun, right? That obviously Mark and I are close, which is why Dental Success Summit is an amazing event. Number two, there's so much value in going to events that are very specific, like Todd Fleischman is having a fee-for-service photography hands-on course for 6 people, right? And 6 people hang out for 2 days, and it's magic. And they make relationships, and they grow. But that's only 6 people, right, man? So don't just go to only 6 people courses because you're going to limit who you meet. But then if you only go to giant symposiums, it's overwhelming. So I would balance it out. The other event happening during that are my friends from Bulletproof Dental Practice. They were having an event the same weekend as us. So I would look for events that have a community behind it, whether it's the Dental Success Summit, Dental Nachos, Bulletproof, because usually those people are engaged and driven people. I also would look to do small group learning, whether it's placing implant courses, Todd's fee-for-service course, because you get to I don't know if you saw my concept of FIPS, friends in your phone, and I said leave with friends in your phone, because these are the people when you leave an event, you can text how your case is going, ask them for advice. So I think it is overwhelming because there are so many events, but look for ones that are fun, look for ones that have a community behind it in some way. Look for ones that you can learn a lot about a little bit of a thing using grammar, but like a lot about photography, a lot about implants. And I also want to share, I want to remember this, also go to some events in your backyard that seem boring, but you can meet people who you might want to buy their practice or sell their practice. That's important, Matt. So there's an event, Dandy, one of my sponsors, having an event, Dentist Night Out, on 2 nights from now, right? And I would tell every dentist in my area, just show up there. Because there could be a 55-year-old dentist who wants to sell their practice or hire an associate. So I want to mix that in too. Don't just fly around the country. Also go to events in your backyard.
So, the whole thing about learning a lot about a little, I think is really smart. I think there's some of these events that have like kind of a random hodgepodge of CE courses I see. Like it'll be clear liners here, it'll be implants there, it'll be restorative here, it'll be veneers. It'll be like a hodgepodge of stuff. We sponsor the American Academy of Clear Liners. They're clear liner focused, and you go there, it's all day clear liners, and it's clear liner equipment, and it's like that's focused, right? And I found that like for the clinical classes I was at boot camp, it seemed like you followed a theme of restorative and implants and surgeries is what it seemed like. And then you had the women empowered thing, which I thought gets so neglected in dentistry, like seriously neglected. There was one young woman who meant a lot to me, one younger doc. She was Indian. She came here as a first generation immigrant. Her father worked from zero to owning a hospital, and unfortunately her brother had passed away in the process. And I made a point when I was watching hers to like, I want to connect with her, and I finally got a chance to, and I wanted to tell her that like when I served in the military, the reason why I did was I think there has to be a place in the world where people can go and move their family generations into the future. There has to be something like that, right? And my family is a family of entrepreneurs, and that's the thing in America I wanted to protect. And I got the chance to thank her for her dad never giving up and getting the hospital, because that's what meant something to me, right? And that when I told her that, I said the reason why I did what I did was so your dad could do what he did. So can you please thank him for doing it, because it makes what I did worth it. And I think she almost teared up at one point when I told her that, right? And that human connection is possible because the size.
Right. That's what I like. And I like the way Boost Camp works. And I've done a lot of, I don't want to say studying on adult learning, but there's limits to verbal instruction, right? You can only watch so many lectures on how to do MMA before you have to get on the floor and do MMA, right? So the way I run Boost Camp is we have 30 to 60-minute lectures about all the things you need to do to play what I say, play the game of dental basketball, right? You got to be able to know how to shoot. You got to be able to communicate as a team. You got to be able to think your way through it. So it's a combination of basically what practice owners have to do daily. Clinical dentistry, communicate with their team, leadership, career decisions. But what I strive to do, and it's pretty intense, is I put so much, it's not bite size, but 30 to 60-minute pieces of content in front of them to inspire them to go do more. Dr. Jason Tenori has 8 practices and 100 plus team members. And if you want to grow your organization, it's probably good idea to listen to his podcast. He should be a guest on your podcast. Andrew knows him well. Sarah Mahmood has 3 children and 4 practices. So how's she balancing being a mom, a parent, all this stuff? Oh, I want to do that next. So I think that that's the real value of these events, with a size where you can get to know everyone, and also a CE tasting menu to see what you want to taste, like a Gary Vee thing, to go do more of.
You know what else I like as a vendor and as a speaker, and I think this was actually really valuable for the campers as well. I think this is something for other events to learn from. You didn't have to choose breakout sessions. Everyone got all the content. I hate going to events where the people attending have to choose across 4 breakout sessions at once. And sometimes they want to go to 2 different ones. So me and Kelly Schwartz were speaking at an event a few years ago, and I know docs who want to go to both of us, and they had to pick one or the other. I think that was a really good point of intentionality where no one could miss out on any content.
That's what I try to do. We did a flip flop. I do like breakouts, but I've dealt with the same challenges. And then also, everybody's a kid at heart, so we also bake in the raffles for people winning prizes and talk to you. I think that you just need like an icebreaker. I mean, one of the things I want to do, what's funny though, Matt, and listen, I'm a vendor too. I have Job Connect, and all the vendors think when a dentist gets out of a lecture, all they want to do is come learn about marketing and banking. But many people just want to take a break, right? So one day I want to have a lecture where dentists line up as vendors for their practices, right? And I put all the vendors inside of a lecture, and they learn about business and leadership. And as soon as they out, can be like, don't you want to learn about my dental office? Don't you want to come get your teeth whitened? And they want to be like, dude, I just want to take a break, right? So I think at these bigger meetings, they put too much pressure on the dentist to like have these interactions in like these short breaks. That's why I have multiple breaks. We have the sip and stroll. I don't know if you talk about this. I have the grandma happy hour that also. So I strive so hard to put frequent breaks so dentists don't feel pressure, because I understand sometimes you don't want to go learn about SEO marketing in that moment. But if you have 4 or 5 breaks, you'll hit it before you're done.
Well, I had Dr. Jack Roush, I think he's from Indiana, maybe. And I had his associate and then an associate that went to school with him all around me. We started talking about watches. And then, that's a big subject for me. I'm a big watch collector. In dental, that's huge. And we sat and talked about watches at my booth for a few minutes, and it led to one of the associates, or the associate that wasn't his, I think, looked at a demo or something. And I mean, it was just the human connection was really good. And I think there wasn't pressure for this stuff to happen. The word pressure is really good. There wasn't pressure for this stuff to happen. You created an environment where it organically flourished. And I think there's a lot of intentionality to that. I think one thing to learn is, I've spoken at other events, and this irritates me to the max because it's awkward. I'll be in a room where I'm speaking. Let's say it's a breakout session. It's a breakout session that 30 people are registered for it and 8 show up on time. And I'm like, where's everyone else? Oh, lunch. I look out in the hallway and people are still in the lunchroom eating. And I'm like, I spent a lot of money for this spot. Like, where are my people at that registered for my talk? I use the word Nazi. Like, you're kind of a Nazi about the structure, which as a military dude, I really respect and actually appreciate a lot because I know what it takes to create that much structure from my past life. I remember eating my lunch. I was done my last bite. And then your people came through and they really started at one end of the room like a line of people and like pushing everyone out of the room to where they needed to be. And they didn't stop at the lunchroom. Once we walked out of the lunchroom, the line became shorter and tighter, and there was a wall of Dental Nacho like shirts shoving us down the
We
hallway.
train for that because it's time integrity, right? And what my coach says that we have now, and like Matt, but maybe your listeners will think this are funny listening in their car at the gym. Dentists live by their schedule, right? And if you are a dentist and it is lunchtime and you have a 2 p.m. patient and your assistant hasn't sat them by 2:01, you freak out, okay? When your patient is supposed to be in at 10 and you don't see him at 10:10, you march up to that front desk and say, "Where is Matt Brown? Call his cell phone right now." But when they go to a C course, they think being on time is a friendly suggestion. And I go, why are you behaving like the patients that frustrate you? So they must get back to the room. And I have I don't know if you heard me say on stage, good parenting and good leadership is bribes and threats. And I basically said the bribe was we're going to have a grandma happy hour. The bribe is we're going to get snacks. The threat is I got nowhere to be. I live here. If we don't start on time, we don't finish on time. And the way to strike fear in the heart of dentists is make them think they're going to be at a CE course longer. So we've trained very hard on that, and I appreciate you notice, because if not, it throws the whole day off. So I tell my team, honestly, I tell them, I'm paying you to kindly annoy these people to get back in the room. I'm like, this is so important to me. This is your job description for Boost.
Back to the competitors being collaborators. So we had SMC there, which I know Gary real well. We have 88 there, which Mike was there. I'm starting to develop a relationship with. And I want to put a shout out to 88 to thank them for my Nate Bargatze tickets because they're the ones that gave them to me. Because they overbought, and I guess the word got to me, and I was like, "Yeah, I'll take the Nate Bargatze tickets." And then when I said yes, I didn't know who they were coming from. I think it was Lindsay or somebody in your staff. I was like, "Oh, it's Studio 88," and I was like, "Oh, that's nice of them." Then me and Mike communicated, and I got them. I think there was like another marketing company there, and then Devin Mass was there. He does a little bit of marketing too.
Patient News, they were there. Jenny and Jesse.
Yeah, Jenny and Jesse, they were great, and we were all hanging out together. And, all the dentists need different things, right? Like I'm a very data-driven marketing company that's very like, anyone that deals with me knows, right? And then Studio 8 is very like polished, very gorgeous, like jewelry level websites, right? Like they're very different audiences. And, they're between the speakers, because they're all dental, and then there was a lot of dentists that were just speakers. I mean, like your brother, which he didn't speak, but your brother came to me about training. And then I'm talking to the one speaker who works in your office, who does your all in X, all in 4, I think Rob. Me and Rob are speaking. And he's looking at marketing right now. And it wasn't, I think the vendors don't understand at your event, it's not just the campers, it's the campers plus the speakers. And they don't believe you. I have a feeling that on your side, they're like, whatever, Paul, it's a sales pitch. No, it is the campers plus speakers. I probably spent as much time speaking to my fellow speakers than I did the campers almost. And it was different kinds of conversations, right? So I think that was really.
And I want to interject, Matt. This is why if I can help people like vendors, and I'm a vendor, stop asking meeting planners how many people are going to be there and start asking who is going to be there. Because do you want 200 disinterested people? And if I can be proud of myself in this moment, a big part is being proud of yourself. Oh, if I go to an event, how many do I count as, Matt, right? Do I count as one dentist or someone with a Facebook community? Well, Mark Costas is there. So stop asking us and holding our feet to the fire. How many people will be at your event? And start asking who will be at the event, because you picked up on it. The speakers represent hundreds of dentists, thousands of dentists. They represent speaking opportunities. They represent all kinds of things that you get to have FaceTime with them at these events. And you picked up on it. So it just drives me nacho nuts when someone goes, I don't know if I want to sponsor Boost Camp. What, I'm going to pay this for 50 dentists. I'm like, you don't get it. It's the dentists and the speakers. And I'm not trying to convince them. I'm just trying to help future vendors understand, start asking who instead of how many.
That's something I kind of did from the beginning. My first big event ever was IntelliCon for Dental Intel, and Kelly Schwartz was there. It was someone I followed for a while. And like I called Ashley Best, who was at Dental Intel at the time. I said, can you make sure I end up somewhere at the same time with Kelly Schwartz? And because that's somebody I wanted to meet. Like, and I look at the speaker list and I'm like, Mark Costas. I pick the people I want to make sure I meet. And in my head, I'm like, I want to meet them because they open the doors to other things. So going back to the audience, right? Because that's really critical. When you do this, right? When you're planning like the lineup of speakers and subjects, do you plan it out thinking about what the audience target is, or do you go to the target audience first and then plan the speakers? Like when you're going to market it, which way do you go? Do you go that way or this way?
It always starts with delivering for the person in the seat in the audience. Like in our office, we have a thing, patient in the office is most important, not the insurance company on the phone, not this. So the camper sitting in the seat content wise is the most important. And then we build who that one is. So this one, the avatar was a dentist who wants to buy another practice, wants to hire an associate, or wants to expand their physical location. So that is what I built the event around. Speakers helping with that. Now, of course, there's just fundamental skills from speakers like Laura Brenner on leadership and Alan Stern on communication. What I want to share for your audience is it doesn't mean that if you weren't looking to buy another practice that you couldn't be in the audience, right? Because maybe that's a few steps down the road for you. But like Dr. Christian Mullen, one of my amazing friends, was there, Dr. David Moore Tabito, Dr. Darcy Naveau. I'm thinking of those type of people, like they own a practice, they're thinking of the next step. Can they look at these superheroes like Summer Casmil, Jason Tenori, the Sarah Mahmoods, and say, what can I learn from them? And then baking into it, like obviously when you work with these practices, when they buy more practices, they usually want to incorporate advanced implants. They usually want, like that's why Cebu and Rob were there. They want to be someone who's known in their community as one of the best dentists they go to. That's why Dr. Todd Fleischman was there. So I always put myself in Jeff Bezos says that when he has meetings, there's an empty chair and says that's where the customer sits, right? And I don't know if that's true or not, but I kind of make that concept for Boost. Let's put the person sitting there in the chair and build it around them.
I think also another value for the audience, if you aspire to be a speaker, I think some events have good influence on you and some don't. I've been to a lot of events where, like I said before, it's just sales pitch after sales pitch after sales pitch all day long. And I thought in the beginning that's what it was supposed to be. So in my head, I'm like, well, I'll just do a demo on stage, right? You got a few people from that. And then I realized quickly that my case presentation training has way more value, and that makes people walk up to me and start conversations. So, if you aspire to be a speaker, like the Dental Nachos event is a good example of what a good speaker is. Like every speaker was interactive. Like Dee brought the beach balls, and then the larger, older gentleman, I shouldn't have said larger, that's so wrong. He had glasses, really funny. Him and his best friend Ron, and the picture was like them in a boat together, I think, or something.
Mitchell.
Yeah. And he had like, I think things of like popcorn maybe or something. The speakers were really interactive and awesome. And I think if you were an aspiring dental speaker and you sat there, I think it was a master class if you took notes properly on just the speaking of how to be a good dental speaker. Because me and you both have been to dental events where it's like watching paint dry some of these speakers.
Yeah,
it puts you to sleep. And me as a non-clinician, even the clinical ones, which I attend a lot of the clinical ones, so that way I can have intelligent conversations with you guys and understand your job. Like, they were some of the best ones I've ever been to. Like, they captured me. They really did. Like, they captured me totally. So the other thing that was really interesting is every single thing happened with intentionality. And in the years of me and you doing business together, which is probably like 2 years now, it's kind of early still in our relationship, but it's been a great, fun, awesome 2 years. Like, you're really good to sponsors. Can you talk a little bit about how you, just for the listeners who are docs and people who need more guidance, and whether it's their practice, their personal life, whatever, can you approach your approach of intentionality and how you consistently apply it so consistently? Because some people are intentional here and there, Paul, I have a feeling you're intentional in your home life. I don't think I've ever met anyone more intentional than you.
Unreasonable Hospitality was the book that our team focused on this year. There's also Setting the Table by Danny Meyer. I'm a huge fan of customer service. The restaurant that you went to, Alves, is run by the Star Organization. Big fan of them. So in my first video that I shared from Will Goodare, he said people are going to come up with better products than you. People are going to outpace you, but no one's going to ever forget how you made them feel, like that quote. So to me, it's so important that the people that come, they spend their time, their money, they leave their families, that they feel amazingly taken care of the entire time, right? Where they have a boost buddy that, everyone has a boost buddy that you can text and ask questions to. We get information on you to help make your experiences awesome as possible, whether it's food allergies or things that you like to do. And my quote is, everything that matters needs a system, and everything matters. And hospitality needs a system. Unfortunately, I think hospitality is an afterthought, and people are more concerned about fancy AV or things like that. And those things are important too, but we have systems for all the things we do, from how we respond to questions. We had a boost hotline, which I took from another event. There's a cell phone where people would text questions into, because this all comes from the frustrations I've had at any experience, especially events, where I felt like I paid to be here. No one noticed me. I was unclear about where I was supposed to be. I will share, in my home life, it's off stage. So I'm going to Disney with my daughters next week, and I went as a kid. So I want to share, I'm a big on stage and off stage person.
That's part of my case presentation training, is on stage and off stage.
While I have time integrity for making sure you're back to watch the boost camp, if I was 5 minutes late to meet you for coffee, I would forgive myself. I don't intend to be 5 minutes late. I don't want to be 5 minutes late, but I really prioritize with whether it's patients or sponsors or clients, that you have to make them feel so taken care of, so they're the only person there. And it's not just so that they come back and buy more stuff from you. It's because I genuinely want them to have an awesome experience, right? Like, some people were on boost camp number 5, and some people aren't going to come back again because it doesn't fit with their schedule. I want all of them to feel like, I went to this thing and I've gotten so many nice texts, and it was exceeded their expectations. That's my favorite part. Even your part, Matt, like, my favorite part, I kindly annoy people to come to boost camp because I know this is going to happen, right? I didn't really need to kindly annoy you, but when a sponsor goes, I'm not so sure, blah, 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 I said, come and see what you think. And then they're blown away by it. And that really is my favorite part, if we use the Disney phrase of the magic.
You did an event probably better than I've ever seen it done. Why are we not doing a super nacho event?
So a couple things, and I'll be genuine on this podcast. I would bring high-level clinical speakers like Dr. Jason Smithson, Dr. Pasquale Venuti to Philadelphia for a larger event that would have 200 people, right? And it would be a 2-day event in my backyard. So let's just say it's a bigger one. I struggled to get signups. It's crazy expensive to do these things. And doing an event actually distracts your entire company. Okay.
Oh, no, it's got to be a year. It's got to be a very horrible year of planning.
Mark Costas, I go to his super DSS event. He has about 600 to 700 people. And if you want to see kind of a bigger event run really, really well and awesome, amazing things done there, I do that. But I don't have it in me. And also, every business needs to do what they do well. And I don't have this other thing that I do, Matt, that like a dentist can buy from me, that makes having like a 700 person event a huge benefit to me. So if Dental Intel is one of my sponsors, you're one of my sponsors. If one day someone wanted me to lend my brand to a super big event, and at the end, they were going to get Energized clients and Dental Intel clients that are going to buy from you for the next 5 years or use Dental Intel for the next 10 years, I'm all on board for participating in that. But personally, me trying to run it with a company that still has like 23 people between the two, it's just too much for us.
So are you saying, because we've been talking about doing a really cool event that I'll talk to you about off stage. So I mean, like, really cool event, like swimming with dolphins for dentists, cool event, right? Would you collaborate with us as Dental Nachos to do like a 200 person or 150 person event?
I would collaborate on larger events where I don't have to have my team run it, but I could participate as a speaker and bring people there. I mean, Manal was there. I went to Sea on the Beach in the Cayman Islands. That was awesome, right? I mean, she invited me as a guest, and that was 180 people. There's value to these events. And it's not all about the ROI. I said is relationships, opportunity, and impact. But if you don't have any real ROI, your company goes out of business. I would love to collaborate with companies who have great lifetime values for dentists when they go to an event and learn about them. If you think about nachos for a minute, Matt, it's hard because you know what people to pay to be in the Facebook group? $0. It's free, right? So that's why it's people like sponsors like you that make our magic happen. And I learned this not the hard way. I ran bigger events. They were just too distracting. So I retired from large events, but the Boost Camp experience is one I'm committed to.
So I know you guys are primarily a CE company, and after seeing the courses this week, you're pretty on this, probably on the side of elite CE companies. I don't know. I don't have a lot of experience with all of them to understand the landscape out there. How many in-person CE events do you guys do a year?
I personally, almost 48-year-old Paul, go around the country to some degree. Like I'll be at Supercharge with Len Tao. I will be speaking at the AID. I think you guys should go to that one. I will be at an event in Maryland. So me, Paul Goodman, and usually 2 or 3 Nacho team members go to see events when I'm the speaker. But we only do Boost Camp as our only main C event. We just do one main a year, but I go to other events as a speaker.
Are you going to be at Len's event this year?
Yeah, I'll be at Len's event. I got one in Maryland going, and the AID I'm really excited for. They're a new sponsor, and my friend runs that, and they have like 800. See that, Matt? Look at, we're talking. The AID is an organization that helps people learn implant dentistry. They have a membership. So when they run an event, they go both to their membership and marketing it.
I think I'm already talking to AID. I'm pretty sure.
That's in November in Arizona.
Yeah, actually, I think I am talking to them right now. Yeah, we're really into implant stuff. So you do your one big event, but you guys do online CE throughout the year.
Online, yeah. My Dental Nachos Supreme, but we have a membership. It's only $300 for the whole year. I call it the Chipotle of CE, but you get Chipotle pricing, but you get the Todd Fleischman has 8 courses on it. Cebu Adicula has multiple courses. People are missing out. I mean, I have a membership base, but I would love to get more people subscribing. I say, put listening in your ear. 1 course a week for 52 weeks. Learn from these people. But it's a bit of the gritty CE. It's not highly produced. It's not fancy. It's just great content, 200 plus hours, and people can learn from all of those speakers you saw on stage.
Well, I think quantity of quality content is more than production value today. I think you can spend a lot of time on production value and have 10 courses where you can do it gritty and kind of scrappy. And you can do 50 courses and it creates a lot more value and have more speakers. So I understand why it's gritty. It makes sense. So we have to wrap this up. This has been a little bit longer episode than I thought it would be, to be honest.
I love it. Thanks.
I mean, when I say I was impressed, I was just like, why can't every event be like this? As far as fun goes, the next funnest event I've ever been to, or the same level of fun was the American Academy of Clear Aligners takes their people to the Sphere, and they have cool activities at night, and they have a gala, and we all dress up in different themes. And that was really fun. And that was like our funnest event. Your event was that's big scale party fun, which is great also. It's different flavor fun. Yours was I had my campers and we were in the room and you weren't there for my breakout sessions. And I said, who's going to Nate Bargatze with me? And the people raised their hands. And I was like, you think you're going to Nate Bargatze? You're hanging out with me in Philadelphia tonight, which is way different. And I'm from the region. That's where I grew up, right? And I took them to get cheesesteaks that night. I kept them out till midnight, just doing fun stuff, right? And that's a different, intimate, we're friends now. Then I was going to the airport, and my campers were going to the airport at the same time as me. And we all had lunch again. I had lunch with 4 of my campers in the airport, and we all hung out and waited for our flights together. And then my CMO, Dave, texted me and said, hey, I'm here with these campers. And his campers weren't the ones that I don't think were the ones that were our campers, but they were people that he knew just from talking, right? And then a bunch of people went out to see the Rocky statue and the art museum steps after the event was over. A lot of people did. They all got Ubers and went over there together. I think there's levels to fun, and I think that the fun is what makes it intimate and creates the bonds. I think otherwise you go to these events, you get on the floor. You go, you got to do, you listen to your C courses. You may or may not have dinner with 1 or 2 people that night, and you go back to your hotel room, right? I think we're the American Academy of Clear Aligners and you guys build this fun in. And I remember the first time I went to the Sphere with them, I had all these dentists I got to meet. Next time I went around, I knew all the same dentists, right?
Yeah, and that's the purpose of life. I mean, life, we had people up there talking about different things, the challenges of life being short, things my whole point is to help people learn, laugh, and feel less alone, right? Make new friends. Like, it's like, I mean, one of the things that people I think be surprised when we're wrapping up is like, I had some of these people on stage who have amazing EBITDA, and all they talked about was leadership, taking care of your team, taking care of yourself, right? Like the real things that show up on your stat sheet. You saw I had the SBETA shirt, your stress level. And that's why more friends, less stress in life, more people you can text on your phone. So appreciate you letting me share about this. It means so much.
I have never had anyone come on the show as a recap of an event
Thanks.
until this. And
I hope you have someone else again sometime in the future, but I'm honored to be the first.
Yeah, like I was like, this has to happen. So, hey guys, if you're listening, like normal, there's no sponsors on Dental Unfiltered. Please click like, subscribe, and share. We don't allow any paid for play. If me or Andrew or any of the hosts on the shows choose something to be on here, it's because we really believe in it. I really believe in Dental Nachos, the Facebook group. If you're not in it and you're a dentist, you're listening, you need to get in it. Aside from the CE and stuff that's offered through there, there's a giant network of 60,000 dentists. You're going to ask a question. Someone's going to know what you need to know. I asked a question about docs in Kentucky after Sabu's thing, and I had 6 docs DM me and asked me, what do you want to know about Kentucky? Like it's you have access to so many brains in that group. And if you are not in it, you're doing yourself a disservice. As a group, and I interact with it. I'm in there all the time. It's a great group to be part of. Thank you, Paul, so much for making time for us today and how busy you are. And thank you for an amazing event, an amazing community in Dental Nachos.
Thanks for having my back. Can't wait to do another one, and see you soon.